emphasize the importance of one tool in particular that is indispensable to our efforts to combat threats posed by foreign adversaries, one that will expire in just a few short weeks if Congress does not act, and that is FISA's 702 authorities for the FBI. And the expiration of our 702 authorities would be devastating to the FBI's ability to protect Americans from those threats. Stripping the FBI of its 702 authorities would be a form of unilateral disarmament.
Man, that sounds pretty scary. Gosh, we better continue to give them all the authority in the world. You know what? Let's ask the congressman to even explain what the heck he's talking about. Joining me now, great congressman from Arizona, Congressman Andy Biggs. Okay, Andy, what's he talking about? What's this 702 authority? Is that a highway or something? What is it?
Section 702 is part of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, and it gives authority to the federal police and surveillance apparatus, think about this, to actually surveil foreign people in foreign countries. And nobody's talking about that. If you want to surveil people and have access to their data, communications data of a foreign person in a foreign country, have at it. But what they've done, though, is they've abused that same authority, because when you do that, inevitably you're going to catch up a U.S. citizen. They talk to somebody, they're in a database on a cell phone, maybe they sent an email or a text message or something, and they're a U.S. citizen. Well, what they don't bother to tell you is we want you to have a warrant. Why? Because the FBI has done this literally millions of times, accessed U.S. persons' communications data that they have seen in this foreign database, whatever foreign database of some foreign person as a target. And they've done that millions of times, that the Inspector General has said, guess what? You guys have engaged in improper queries, which is another way of saying illegal searches.
Congressman, what have they done with this information? Millions of times they have, I would say illegally, obtained private information, maybe mine, maybe yours. What have they been doing with this information they've been gathering on American citizens? Is J. Edgar Hoover still running things over there?
He might as well be. In fact, he would have loved this program, because what the Inspector General's reported, and there's some independent watchdog groups that were set up at the time as well. What they've reported is that there's been sometimes a parallel use of that information. So it's kind of a backdoor search. So they find you and they say, oh, we think this guy might be a criminal. So they're looking at you without that warrant. And they look to see if they can build a criminal case, and then they see if they can build it up with non-702 data and information and evidence, so nobody will ever even know, ostensibly, that they used that 702 evidence as the predicate to go after you. And so we've got people here in Congress that are saying, oh, Andy, we're gonna have a problem. We're not telling you that you can't continue to target a foreign person on foreign soil, that you can build these databases. We're just saying, once you start going down the rabbit hole on U.S. persons, guess what? You got to have a Fourth Amendment search warrant.
Congressman, how many of your colleagues in Congress are with you on your very correct way of thinking? Please tell me there are some Democrats, although I'm not hopeful on that, but at least Republicans, tell me they're at least universal in acknowledging the FBI is after them now.
So the Democrats, I think we actually have the majority of the Democrats agree with me and are going to support my bill if we can get it voted on the floor. I do think that ultimately we have a chance to get the majority of the Republicans, but they're not universally with me. Jesse, what they're doing instead, actually, there's a cadre, the Intelligence Committee right now in the Congress. Republicans are trying to send scaring messages to my colleagues. Everything from if the Biggs bill passes, we'll be protecting illegal immigrants to this is going to result in a terrorist attack that we won't be able to detect because we can't get this information. And the problem is it's not even accurate. I mean, my bill actually, Jesse, it kind of mirrors normal Fourth Amendment law, which says basically you got to get a warrant. But if there's some kind of exigent circumstance and you suspect or have a legitimate reason to believe that somebody is in immediate peril, you can go ahead and make that search until things calm down. But then you're going to have to justify that, right? But it's got to be transparent. The problem with this, Jesse, is it all takes place in a secret court. A secret court that you have to hope that somebody is going to report on and give us information. So for years, people didn't know, they suspected, but they didn't know until the Inspector General for the Department of Justice said, hey, big problems here, a lot of problems going on. And no, we do not have universal Republican support. It is frustrating to me, and the Speaker is actually undermining us a bit as well.
What a bunch of friggin' weenies. Congressman, how many Americans do you think even know what cultural Marxism is, and how many Americans do you think know they're surrounded by it? Like, what percentage do you think?
I would say in mainstream and conservative circles, less than 1%, less than 1/10, maybe even less than 1/100% know about cultural Marxism. If you're a lefty, because it stems from, as you rightly noted the other night, Antonio Gramsci, who was an Italian Marxist who ended up in prison, and he wrote his philosophy while in prison. What he said is, because you're not going to be able to get the proletariat or the middle class ever to rally to get this type of thing done, which is a revolution, an overthrow of capitalism and free markets, what you're going to have to do is you're going to basically have to take control of every institution, whether it's education, religion, government bureaucracy, and use those to have a different kind of revolution. And guess what? We're there. That's the existential crisis that we face. And that's why I say often, every institution right now is designed and filled with people who hate this country and want to overthrow who we are as an American society. And guess what? Back to the 702, that's more of the same, right?